What is good? What is good? I don't know if there's actually anybody here, but if there is anybody here, what is good? Finally figured out a way to fix this camera situation. Let me know if the audio is where it needs to be. Hello, good day, Jordan. How are you doing today? I hope that all is well with you. Yo, what's good, bro? I am doing pretty well. A bit stressed, a bit overwhelmed, but it's all for a good reason. Your video from yesterday was very funny. Bro, listen, it's funny in retrospect, but at the time that I was actually filming it, I was so heated, bro. I was so heated because here's the thing. I don't really like filming in public like that. I really don't. So when things like that happen, it just makes my job that much harder. So it was like, bro, are you serious? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, how are you doing today, Eel? Jordan, do you regret pursuing YouTube as a full-time career considering how volatile the algorithm is? The algorithm ruined your livelihood, man. No, the algorithm didn't ruin anything. I ruined my own livelihood. Here's one thing, okay? If you ever want to be a creator or really any kind of entrepreneur at all, you cannot place the power outside of yourself. You can't say the record label is the reason why my music career failed. You can't say the algorithm is the reason why I don't get as many views. You can't say things like that because it's ultimately up to you. So let's say, for example, if I just wanted to get as many views as possible. I think I've said this in the past and I've actually proven this multiple times since then, but if I just wanted to get as many views as possible and be in the algorithm, I would simply cater to the content, or cater to the desires rather, that the audience is showing. So, for example, in my case, that would be making more videos about being an American in the Netherlands. And right now, that's just not really something that I want to prioritize in my content. It's something that I want to include, but not prioritize. So, yeah, don't allow yourself to develop the mentality that it's about the algorithm or it's about this or that, I don't know, people are just out to get you. It's never about that. It's about you and the decisions that you make. Nobody forced me to go to the BMW dealership and lease that car. Nobody forced me to sign the lease on that apartment. Nobody forced me to spend the money that I spent, which put me in the situation that I was in. And it wasn't until I realized that I was actually able to fix my situation, pull myself from the depths of hell, and rebuild myself from the ground up. I'm doing good too, thank you. I'm glad to hear that, bro. I'm really glad to hear that. Greetings from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yo, shout out to all my people from the DFW area. I am from Louisville myself. If you're from DFW, then you know where that is. So, shout out to everybody from DFW. Greetings from the UK. Shout out to all my people from the UK. Listen, I went to London for maybe all of 36 hours at most. And it's literally my second favorite city in the world now, after Los Angeles. So I definitely want to visit there again, and in the future, maybe even move there. What does lock in mean? So that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. In my case, that just means locking in on creating content that provides value to people and building up my coaching practice. That's what locking in means for me. Locking in the gym. After this stream, my girlfriend and I are going to go to the gym and do cardio. That's locking in. But for you, it might mean locking in on your studies. It might mean locking in toward getting that promotion that you want at work. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But whatever goal you have, it's just eliminating all or at least most distractions and focusing on achieving that goal above all else. What's good, Ice Cold Tristan 2.0? What's good, Golden Nagoma? Golden Nagoma, I was actually watching some of my old streams yesterday, and bro, you've been around for a while. You really have been around for a while, so I want to give you your flowers for that, bro. I appreciate you. I disagree, to be honest. You put so much time into YouTube and deserve to be getting way more views. The algorithm is screwing you over. No. No, okay, listen. Lakers Paradise, it's a free world, but I cannot let you leave this stream until you get this literally embedded deep within your soul. Okay? Nobody is screwing me over. The outcomes of my life, so what you see in terms of how my life is right now, is literally all because of me. It's the decisions that I have made. My decisions determined my destiny, which is what I'm currently living. In the same way, my current decisions determine my destiny moving forward. So the decision that I am making to make content that is not in favor of the majority of my current audience is the reason why I am not getting as many views. It has nothing to do with the algorithm. It is literally me. It is all me deciding that. And if you want proof of that fact, as a matter of fact, let's take a little field trip real quick. How do I use the... Hold on, let's open up a quick incognito tab and let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Display capture, is that how you do it? Display capture, no properties available. Okay, that's window capture maybe. YouTube, yeah, okay. All right, make the webcam smaller. Listen, bro, I'm getting to that age where this technical stuff is not really, I don't know. It's just, yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming you can see this. So we're going to accept all. This is an incognito tab, Jordan Green, right? We're going to look up my name. We're going to go to my channel. You see, I'm live, time to lock in. Okay, so look, let me show you exactly what I mean. This is, once you have done YouTube for long enough, you start to understand stuff like this. Okay, this is not a coincidence. Why did all 4 of these videos do well, but then none of these 4 did well, relatively speaking? Okay, there are patterns that I don't even think you need to do YouTube to understand. These videos right here are not performing as well as these because these are the videos that are in favor with my audience. So if I wanted to pick up 10,000 views a video, you can average this out yourself. I don't really know the average of those 4. If I wanted to pick up 10 or 12,000 views a video, I would literally only post these kinds of videos. And I'm pretty sure I did that back here as well. I went through a good little period where I was getting 10,000, and then if I deviated from that, digital nomad, the videos didn't do as well. That's not a coincidence. I knew they weren't going to do as well when I made them, but I also knew that they would be valuable for the people who did watch them. So even though only 1.8 thousand people, I say only very lightly because that's literally just relatively speaking. At one point, my most viewed video was 1.3 thousand views. They help the people who are watching them. So maybe one person might watch this video and take away game that literally allows them to become a digital nomad and travel the world like I'm able to do. So that's basically what I need you to understand is that, for one, I'm in control of how many views I get. 2, the views don't always correlate with the value. So I would imagine that this video, although it got fewer views, has provided much more value to people than this one that got 57,000 views because of the nature of the subject matter. And on top of that, another thing that I think a lot of non-creators don't really understand fully, go ahead and get back to the stream, but I think something that a lot of creators, non-creators that is, don't really understand fully is that most of the money that you make is not going to be from AdSense. So I don't know. I don't want you or literally anybody else who watches my content to allow that sort of mindset to dictate your life decisions and how you navigate through life. You are not a victim. It's not because of your race. It's not because of your gender. It's not because of where you were born. You have an opportunity to make decisions that will alter the trajectory of not only your life, but thousands, if not millions, of other lives around the world. And you need to really, really hold on to that understanding no matter what happens, especially when you're at your lowest point. So, yeah, in short, the algorithm is not screwing me over. Nothing's screwing me over. I am sacrificing the views in order to provide the value. Yo, I hope everyone is having a great day today. Let's lock in. What's good, Kale? I always like to see a familiar face in here, bro. You life in Adam? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking with that. Hoe is je Nederlands? Het is een beetje slecht. Het is niet zo goed. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really been doubling down on learning Dutch the way that I wanted to, because right now I have so much on my plate that I really have to take the time to consider what is going to make the biggest impact in my life. It's basically a runaround political way of me saying that I just don't have the bandwidth to really focus on learning Dutch right now. So I'm doing one Duolingo lesson a day just to maintain the Dutch that I've already learned. But even then, I already kind of feel it slipping away in a sense. But yeah. Adam equals Amsterdam. Oh no, I do not live in Amsterdam. I've actually only been to Amsterdam one time since I got to the Netherlands. And that was literally the day that I landed. I landed at Schiphol, and then my girlfriend's family picked me up. We walked around for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and then we left and came down to Brabant. What to do when you don't even know where to begin with? I feel so lost in life right now, and I don't know which direction to take, which moves to make. What's your opinion on situations like this? All right, so I'm going to assume that you're in your late teens through mid-20s. You're somewhere probably in that age range, and maybe you just finished high school, or you're about to finish high school, and you just don't know. There are so many options out there that you literally don't know which one to pick. And what I would say is, instead of thinking about the options that you have in front of you right now, start thinking about where you want to be. So start thinking about what life magnetizes you, what life attracts you psychologically, what life moves you emotionally just to think about. And once you can identify what that is, you start reverse engineering. So you start thinking about what steps you can take in order to get to that point. So let's say, for example, you, want to be rich. Let's say that that's your burning desire. It may not be that, but let's just use this as a hypothetical example. You have a burning desire to be rich. So right there, you've already eliminated a lot of options, because you can't just get rich doing anything you want. There are certain paths which lead you to wealth. And the more wealth you want to accumulate, the fewer paths there are to getting there. So for example, when I was younger, I used to ask myself, how can I reach 10 million subscribers as a self-improvement YouTube channel? And what I realized retrospectively is that you can't. You can't, because there is not a large enough market for that. In the future there might be, but at this point in time, there is not a large enough market for that, which is why all of the largest self-improvement creators have 7 million subscribers or less. Teaching Men's Fashion, Alpha M, you have Hamza, you have Alex Costa, you have all of these people who they're crushing it, but they're nowhere near the multiple 10 millions of subscribers, because there's just not a large enough market for it. So, and that's just one example, but basically, in order to get to where you want to go, you're going to realize that there really aren't that many paths to get there. And then out of those paths that there are only so many paths that you are best equipped to pursue. So, for example, if you want to be a millionaire and you identify that there are these paths to becoming a millionaire, but some of the paths require you to be a front-facing sales representative within your business, but you're an introvert, then it might suit you to eliminate those paths where you have to be front-facing and you have to become a more extroverted person, because that's not tailored to your specific strengths and weaknesses. So right there, we're already filtering out a lot of options just by understanding who you are and what you want. And I think the most difficult part about identifying what you want in this life is that from the time we're born until the time we develop the agency to make that decision for ourselves, we're conditioned by the outside world. And this conditioning comes from school, it comes from our parents, it comes from our friends, it comes from the content we consume, it comes from the news, it comes from the music we listen to. It comes from literally every single direction. And this conditioning creates limiting belief systems that tell us that we are not capable or not worthy of achieving certain outcomes. And so what a lot of people end up doing is they accept the limiting beliefs as truths, which they're not, they are false. They accept them as truths and they act in accordance with those limiting beliefs, and they live their whole entire lives in mediocrity. And listen, mediocrity is a lot better than misery, I'll say that. But at the same time, I think that living a meaningful life is a lot better than living a mediocre life. And I'm sure that if you're watching this stream, you probably agree with me. So A1738, if you're still here, that's basically what it comes down to. You have to identify what you want in life, not what you want to want based on what the people around you want. Think about what you want. Think about what paths can take you there. And then think about which of those paths you are uniquely equipped to pursue. And right there, you're going to narrow it down substantially. You go into WrestleMania, boy. I'm not going to lie, bro. I haven't been into wrestling since I was a kid, but that was a golden era of my life. Hold on. I need to start eating these sandwiches. Let me just... I think I've seen a few people ask me what I eat in a day. I eat this for lunch basically every day. I eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Put you on game right here. Each sandwich has 40 grams of natural crunchy peanut butter and 23 grams of jam, strawberry jam. But completely off topic. Yeah, bro, I haven't been into wrestling since... What were they called, bro? Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You remember I think it was DX or something like that? Those were my favorite wrestlers. But I don't know how I got out of wrestling. I just lost interest over time. But bro, I had the little action figures. I had the game. Those WWE games on the PS2. Arthur, you don't know anything about that, bro. Let me tell you right now, you don't know anything about that. What's good, Blitz? I see, that makes sense. I take back what I said then about the algorithm. Listen, bro, Lakers Paradise. I'm not trying to prove you wrong. That is not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to expand your mind beyond the limiting beliefs. Because there was a point in time when I thought the same way. Even with my own channel, I thought, bro, the algorithm is just out to get me. I'm posting good content and people aren't watching it. People aren't seeing it because the algorithm's not promoting me. I'm not getting enough impressions. Bro, listen, even if that were partially true, how does acknowledging that serve you at all? How does it empower you in your life? I'm at the point in life where if a belief or observation doesn't empower me to take action toward my goals, I eliminate it. I discard it from my subconscious mind by finding evidence of the contrary. So what I wanted to do for you right there was provide evidence of the contrary to prove to you that it's all about the decisions you make in life. It's not just with YouTube and the algorithm, it's everything. It's the job that you work. It's the album that you drop. It's the clothing brand that you start. It's the relationship that you enter. It's all of it. It's all down to your decisions and how you respond to the circumstances in front of you. What's good, Jordan? Hope all is well with you. What's good, Brad? Look, life is good. I am stressed. I am stressed the hell out, but it's a good stress. It's eustress, I think it's called, where the stress builds you up and makes you a better person, makes you more tolerant to, I guess, more stress. But yeah, bro, I hope all is well with you as well. To learn Dutch is hard in the Netherlands as everyone speaks English instantly. It's not even just that. It's more the fact that, because there have been times where I spoke English to people and they spoke Dutch. I think because the part of the Netherlands that I live in, people don't expect people to speak English first. I don't know if this is actually true, but I think I might be the only American in the city that I live in. And it's not a very small city either. It's a city of maybe 50 to 100,000 people, something like that. I might be the only American here. But I think it's more just like I was saying just now, it's not so much about how other people respond to me speaking English or me speaking Dutch, is that I'm just not putting in the effort required to actually become fluent in the language. That is entirely on me, because I could, for example, invest in Duolingo Premium. I could invest in maybe a language coach. I could make those investments in myself, but right now I know that the return on those investments would be exceedingly slim, given that learning Dutch wouldn't really improve the quality of my life, because, once again, to your point, everybody in the Netherlands speaks English as well. So it would be more of a novelty thing where I would learn it just to be able to say that I can speak it fluently. And that's not to say that I won't in the future, but basically it wouldn't really add much to my life, if that makes sense. Which I know is not socially the right thing to do or say, but it's just the truth. So you're preparing yourself for Carnival. When is Carnival? Because I'm leaving the Netherlands. My girlfriend and I are leaving the Netherlands for a few months next month, at the end of next month. So actually, yeah, I do kind of want to see what that's all about, because I didn't get a chance to experience that last year. Keep on going, bro. One day you'll be there. That's a fact. You just got to keep going. Jordan, I want to move back to Florida, but I'm worried about being able to afford it because of the high rent prices and the job market isn't too good. What should I do? So, if you want to move back to Florida, first of all, what are your job prospects? I mean, if you're somebody who works at a job, you said that the job market isn't too good in Florida. Is that really true though? Because from what I understand, Florida is a bustling state in general, economically. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would say maybe see if you can room up with somebody. That's a great way to save money on rent. Room up with somebody, and ideally somebody that you know and somebody that maybe motivates you to be around. And from there, that should allow you to essentially hack the system. And you said Florida, you didn't specify Miami or Orlando or anything. So, I mean, you can go to a lower cost of living city in Florida as well and save money like that. So rent a room in a lower cost of living city in Florida, and then whenever you want to go to Orlando or Miami, you just drive down there. Wait, bro, I remember the last Tinder stream, and you mentioned not wanting a girl who wrestles because she'll put you in the walls of Jericho. Elite wrestling knowledge. Listen, bro, I forgot all about that stream, bro. That's crazy. Listen, bro, you got to be careful with some of these women, bro. You got to be careful with some of them, because some of them really will use that against you, bro. They really will they'll put you in the walls of Jericho. I don't even remember any other. They'll really hit you with that 619. They'll really do all of this, bro. You got to be careful with some of these women out here, especially wrestlers. Wrestlers in general, male or female, are built completely differently, bro. They are assembled in a unique fashion. They are constructed in an obscure manner. They are not normal, bro. There's this one wrestler guy. His name is Alexander something. He's, I think, Russian, I want to say. He doesn't wrestle anymore, but he used to wrestle. And I saw this man literally walk on his shoulders, bro. I cannot make this shit up, bro. That man was walking on his shoulders. That's when I knew that if I ever get into a fight with somebody and they go for a double leg takedown or something like that with good form, I'll literally concede immediately. I'm surrendering, because that's not somebody that I want any smoke with at all. But yeah, bro, I was locked in with wrestling back in the day, bro. The WWE, because I remember they used to do SmackDown on Mondays and Raw. No, no, I'm tripping. It was Raw on Mondays and SmackDown on Thursdays. Good times, bro. Good times. This sandwich is so dry, bro. Are 9 to 5 jobs useless in this day and age, and are they worthless if your goal is to get rich and escape the matrix? Okay, let me specify this. 9 to 5 jobs are not useless by any means, because if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to scale to become extremely wealthy, the chances are you are going to have employees yourself. You're going to have employees, which means you're going to have 9 to 5ers working for you. So they're literally not useless because society can't function without them, at least for now. AI might interrupt that paradigm, but at this point in time, 9 to 5 jobs are extremely useful. My thing is this, okay? If you don't want to work a 9 to 5, if you know that within your heart and soul that that's not what you want to do, then you should not do that. At least not not into perpetuity. Maybe in the immediate future, if you need the money to fund whatever other ventures you want to pursue, but don't get it into your head that you have to work a 9 to 5 for your whole entire life in order to survive, because it's bullshit, honestly. And that just goes back to what I was saying earlier about conditioning, external conditioning. And as far as getting rich with a 9 to 5, you can get rich with a 9 to 5, but you need to understand that those jobs are going to require a lot of you. And the same is true of business. What I've come to realize is that there's no easy way to get rich. It doesn't exist. There's no get rich quick. There's no get rich easy. It doesn't exist. You have to walk the path. You have to take the L's along the way. The L's meaning lessons. You have to be willing to learn those hard-earned lessons along the way. And ideally, if you have a mentor or a group of mentors who have taken some of the losses and have learned their lessons from those losses, they can give you some of the lessons without the losses. That's one of my goals with my coaching program, link in the description. But either way, you still have to put in the work. So I think the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of people, they think that not working a 9 to 5 is easier or something, and it's not. It is not easier. It brings a whole different set of challenges, but if you're somebody who doesn't want to work a 9 to 5, you'll welcome those challenges because the challenges bring a whole different kind of freedom as well. Yo, Jordan, would you skydive? Nobody could pay me to do that shit besides Drake. Listen, bro, I don't know about that. I think maybe in the past I said I would do it if I had 1 million subscribers, but I might have to renege on that promise, bro, because I don't like heights at all. But I'll say this though, I would rather skydive. I would much rather skydive than get on a roller coaster. You can't pay me enough to do that. I'm not getting on a roller coaster. I don't care what the circumstances are. It's just not going to happen. How big are your arms? I don't actually know. I don't have an accurate measurement. I had my girlfriend measure my waist, my arms, my chest, all of that to pass forth the information for a wedding because I need a tailored suit, I guess. But I think the measurements might not be right because I think she measured my waist at 33.5 inches, something like that. But then I bought pants that were size 33 and they were 3 sizes too big. I'm really a 31. Actually, no, I'm probably a 29 on the waist. So I don't know what I am on my arms. I'm probably maybe 14 inches, 14, 15, probably 14, we'll just say. But my arms are my weak point right now. My arms and my shoulders are my 2 weak spots, which I have been tirelessly working to improve. How to overcome resistance toward your business pursuits and remove limiting beliefs that don't serve you or your goal. When you say resistance, are you talking about internal resistance or external resistance? I'm going to just answer for both of them. External resistance, meaning environmental resistance. So resistance from your family, from your friends, from your colleagues, from the people around you in general, can only be solved in one possible way, and that is through isolation. You have to remove yourself, or at least distance yourself from those people as much as you possibly can. Otherwise, they're going to keep polluting your mind with their negative beliefs, their limiting beliefs that they believe about themselves, and therefore believe that you should believe about yourself. And eventually, it's going to wear you down, and you're going to give up. Internal resistance is a whole different thing. When you're telling yourself that you don't have what it takes, that's where you have to start finding evidence that you do have what it takes. You have to start creating evidence that you do have what it takes. And you do that by simply reminding yourself of all of your previous accomplishments. And the cool thing is that this is one of those things that builds on itself. So as you reflect on your prior accomplishments and you think about how much you improved, how much you evolved as a person. Hold on, I think my camera is actually about to die. Let me switch this battery out before the stream just goes black. I need to get a charger for this camera, bro. This is very, very inconvenient. Let's turn that back on. Webcam, cam link. Okay, we're back in business. Okay, so basically, what was I saying? Yeah, so you have to reflect on your prior accomplishments. Think about how much you had to elevate your game in order to accomplish those things. And then you use that momentum, that mental momentum, to manifest new evidence. So that's where you have new accomplishments because you're riding the wave of confidence that you're borrowing from your younger self. I said this in my PMO relapse recovery guide, if you ever got the chance to read that. But basically, the most important person that you'll ever inspire is your future self. And you'll inspire your future self by overcoming adversity, overcoming obstacles. The things that I've overcome in my past literally don't allow me to doubt myself anymore. Even when I do doubt myself, because I do a lot, I remember the things that I've overcome. I remember how I managed to flip $27,000 of debt into $2,000 of just net money, whatever, in 3 or 4 months. I remember how I was able to quit my job and literally get monetized a few months later without even having been close to monetization when I quit. I think about how I was able to move overseas to a country that I had never previously visited. I think about how I was able to live in my car for 3 months. I think about these things and I can't doubt myself. How can I doubt myself when I have all of this evidence to show that I'm capable? So that handles the capability side, but what about the worthiness side? How do you overcome resistance regarding your worthiness of achieving a specific outcome? Well, in my experience, the only way to overcome that resistance is to take the preview of your dream life. So this is why I'm very adamant about going to the dealership that has your dream car, sitting inside of the dream car and adjusting the mirror, putting the seatbelt on, and actually imagining yourself driving that car, taking it on a test drive if you can. I'm a big advocate for going to your dream neighborhood and driving around that neighborhood as if you live there, going to that grocery store near that neighborhood that you're going to go to once you live there. Taking the preview of your dream life, going into the Gucci store, even when you can't even afford the cheapest item in there, because you know that one day that's where you're going to do most of your shopping. Not to say you have to get designer or move to a fancy neighborhood or get a really nice car, but the point is, you said that you have dreams, you have these business pursuits, you're probably a very ambitious person, you probably want some material gain from your business pursuits. Take the preview of that. Take the preview, and what you'll realize is that these things are just things. That car is just an object, and people really buy those cars every single day. People buy Rolls Royces every day. People buy Maybachs every day. People buy Porsches every day. And when you understand that, you take them off the pedestal and you realize, okay, I know I'm capable and I know I'm worthy. Now all I need to do is actually go out and get it. And that's a big oversimplification, but at the same time, that's really what it comes down to. When you know that you're capable and you know that you're worthy, you just go and you get those things because nothing's stopping you. What's the average height over there for males and females? For males, I want to say 5'10", 5'11", and for females, probably 5'5", 5'6". But honestly, I don't really know. I know there are some very tall motherfuckers over here, though. Still confuses me to this day that the Netherlands isn't literally dominating in basketball for how many tall people there are here. But maybe that'll change in the future. The walls hurt. Listen, I've never been put in the walls of Jericho, and I don't intend to, ever. 2022, Jordan Green was a pacifist, but very open to shooting a girl if she starts trying to put you into a figure four or something. The Tinder stream was core memories. Listen, bro, that offer is still valid. It still stands. I am not... Let me not even say anything that's going to get me banned from YouTube, but that offer still stands, bro. You don't want smoke with me either, Jordan. I'll put you in a reverse pretzel. I don't know what that is, but all I know is that I want no smoke with any kind of wrestler. Anybody who does any kind of grappling at all, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, what other type of grappling is there? Anybody who does anything like that, I want no smoke with them. No smoke at all. They got Raw on Netflix now, so if you ever want to tap in... See, don't say stuff like that, because then you might unlock this whole rabbit hole of me just... let's not even go there. I feel like the game's probably changed so much, because back then, I mean, that was the era of The Undertaker popping off from the coffin. That was the era of, what's his name? The Great Khali, The Big Show, and Jericho. You had Crime Time. You had, who else? What's his name? Kofi Kingston. You had, oh man, what's that midget dude? Who was he? The midget who always wore green. You know who I'm talking about. He always wore the little top hat. You had him, Rey Mysterio, of course. You had Mark Henry. You had, oh man. We were really out here, bro. We were at school the next day just reenacting all of that. Bro, this peanut butter is stuck in my teeth, bro. Is this? Let me make sure the camera's focusing. Yeah, there we go. Where was I? Why do I feel like I need to look perfect all the time in order to get girls? I also feel like if I don't look good physically, girls won't like me, and I'll be single forever if I don't. So let me just say this, bro. Looking good doesn't hurt, and everyone has the capacity to look good, at least look above average, because most people aren't putting in the extra effort to do that. I'm not saying you need to become a model, but taking the extra effort to look good doesn't just help you in terms of your confidence around women. It helps you in terms of your confidence overall, because you're conveying to your subconscious mind that you're worth the extra effort. When you start treating yourself like a Ferrari instead of let's say a Kia or something like that. No shade to Kia. Kia makes good cars. But when you start treating yourself like a very high-end car instead of a very regular average car, you're conveying a different message to your subconscious mind. You're saying that you're worth the effort. And when you start to believe that you're worth the effort, you start to act in accordance with that belief. You start moving differently. I remember this one stream of yours 3 years ago where you called H&M for a job role after a wild comment. Good times, not sure you remember, but that had me cracking up. Yes, bro, I do remember that. Those were some really crazy times, bro. When I first moved into that apartment, I was moving completely differently in that apartment, bro. You can skydive in a tube in the Netherlands. You don't have the heights, but you have the experience. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in skydiving though. If I ever did it, it would more so be to overcome the fear. But I still think the fear would still be there, even if I had a great experience doing it. It's not like I would just suddenly decide I'm going to become a base jumper or something like that. But I think we do have that in the US as well, where I think the wind blows you up or something like that, if I recall correctly. Never really did that before though. Roller coasters are only scary your first time. You just got to get it over with, Jordan. No. Because I've been on roller coasters before, and they don't get better. They always suck, bro. And those are small roller coasters. I've never been on the big roller coasters, Mr. Freeze, the Titan, the Texas Giant, Superman, all of that. Bro, I am not doing that in my lifetime. I'm not doing that. Because there's no upside to it. There's no, what's the benefit of getting on a roller coaster? It just doesn't, I don't really understand it. Jordan Green streams always been goated. Not to keep referencing that Tinder stream, but when a dude came up on his swipe stack, he got up and left for like 5 minutes. That someone in the chat made an account with that guy's name and photo. Funny times, bro. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I don't have to get on Tinder anymore, bro. I'm so grateful, because Tinder was just, oh my gosh. When I think about things that have, and let me not make the accountability be on myself, because it's on me for being on the app and for interacting with the people on the app. But bro, that shit was so stressful. So stressful, bro. Hornswoggle, yes, Hornswoggle. Yes, bro. Oh my gosh. See, you know, you're definitely on game, bro. You're already knowing. Are Netherlands people racist? What is their personality like? No, I wouldn't say Dutch people are racist at all, actually. I made a video about being black in the Netherlands if you want to know more about that. 14 inches, you're big as fuck. You're tripping, bro. Tripping. Compared to other Europeans, yeah, I don't really have enough reference points to really compare, because, yeah, I haven't really interacted with a whole lot of European people like that. In Spain, I guess I did, but yeah, even then, I didn't really interact with people that much. So, yeah, I don't know. Jordan, what method do you use to find your maintenance calories and also to decide how much to add and subtract when bulking or cutting? Trial and error. That's basically what it comes down to. I use this app, and I talk a lot more about this in the coaching program. I go a lot more extensively into this, but basically I use this app that tells me what my maintenance should be. But what I've also found is that the app is nowhere close, because the app was telling me I needed 2,800 calories a day to bulk, but I was eating something like 3,500 and I still wasn't gaining weight. So it doesn't really take your metabolism into account, because I guess it can't. And because of that, all you can really do is just, maybe if you get a, what's it called, Fitbit or an Apple Watch or something like that, where you can track how many calories you're burning, then you can go based on that number and add around 500 to that number. But yeah, bro, that's basically what it comes down to, is just trial and error. But the most important thing is that you track. If you track, then you'll know what's working and what's not. But I feel like for my girlfriend, it was a lot more straightforward, because she's been on a cut for basically a year now, I want to say. And she has lost a lot more weight than I have gained, even though we're both tracking our calories. So, and eating generally the same foods. And I would say I'm probably even more diligent as far as tracking my calories goes. So some of it is just your metabolism level, but again, it's just trial and error. And also, it depends on how you train, because I train like a fucking nut, bro. I train like a prisoner serving a life sentence who has no hope for anything other than lifting. So I think maybe that's part of it as well. So there are just so many factors that you have to take into account, but trial and error again. I was 18 when I began self-improvement, and that was when I was at my best productivity-wise and motivation, etc. I'm 21, and since then I've barely progressed and regressed. Any tips to rest myself? I'm assuming you mean reset yourself. So I would say get back in touch with that 18-year-old version of you. Just sit in a room alone until you can really think about what moved and motivated that version of you to take action, and see if you can reconnect with that. Reconnect with your why. Because I think over time, especially as we get older, life just kind of beats the why out of us. And we lose sight of what makes our actions worth it. What makes all of this stress worthwhile. And you have to consciously take the time to acknowledge that why whenever it starts to slip away from you. You have to consciously do this. I think when you're younger, it's easier to just do it because you're young and you don't really have a whole lot of responsibility at 18 compared to being 21. So, yeah, bro, anytime you plateau with anything, it's almost always because you lost sight of your why. You lost sight of your why, and because you've lost sight of your why, you are either A, not seeking the information that you're missing, that you need. So you're not taking action to find the information that serves as the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. Or B, you don't know where you want to go at all. So you don't know where the bridge would even lead to. So again, you don't seek the information out and you don't take action. So you might even get the information, but you don't take action on it. What are the habits that you've built up and used to help you succeed in your Nofap journey? So I'm going to be completely honest with you, bro. There was a point not too long ago where I basically fell off of Nofap. And I didn't really talk about this in the video, but basically I had to take a step back and ask myself, what the fuck just happened? Because it seemed like things in my life were going very well. I mean, I was starting this new business that actually aligned with what I wanted to do. And I felt like I was just taking control of my life again. And so I had no real reason to have done that. But what I came to realize was that for me, in my particular situation, it was not because of bad habits that I had in my life, because every other aspect of my life, I was completely locked in on. The gym, wasn't skipping any gym sessions. When it came to making videos, when it came to, what else, bro? Meditating, reading, taking courses. I was doing everything else right except for that one thing. And what I realized was that that was a coping mechanism for fear. So I feared the responsibility that came with the life that I had begun to build. And in my case, for example, to be more specific, I feared, I'll be completely honest with you, that in coaching people, I didn't have what it took to actually get people the results that they wanted. I feared it. And the pressure of having to live up to the expectations that I was setting was too much for me at that time. And I basically folded. And so I'm saying all of this to say that it's not necessarily about your habits. It's about understanding psychologically what is causing you to relapse. Because once I realized that, and I was open about that within the coaching community that I started, I haven't really struggled with it since then, because I was able to identify that aspect of myself and say, okay, I'm afraid. And it's okay. It's normal to be afraid. This is a good thing, because this fear that I have, this feeling of me being a little bit in over my head, means that I have to evolve as a person. And ultimately, That's why I'm doing this in the first place. It's so that I can evolve and help other people do the same thing. So, yeah, I know that might not be the answer you were expecting to hear, but that's the truth. Is that it's not really about all of the habits that you have that can help, but it's really more about the psychological reason behind your relapses. And for you, it might be different. It might not be fear. It might be something else. But you have to take the time to assess what that is for you. Hi, bro, like your work. I have a question. Do you believe eating healthy and showing yourself love and impacting your social skills as positive will impact your social skills as positive? By that, I mean, can people tell when you look after yourself? I think so, yeah. I do think that whenever you take good care of yourself, it's not even that other people notice per se, it's that you begin to hold yourself in higher regard in your own subconscious mind. And so you begin to attract different kinds of people into your life because that's what you believe you are compatible with. You start to become more compatible with people who are also interested in elevating their lives and can maybe help you do the same. As within, so without really is a real thing. What do you think of YBC Too Cold? I honestly don't know who that is. Is that a rapper or is that, who is that? And that's no shade or anything. I'm getting to that age, bro. I don't know who these people are, bro. I'm getting to that point in life. John Cena. How did I forget about John Cena, bro? That's crazy. Hey, bro, I know you've been off the market for a while, and I'm happy for you, bro, with your girlfriend and everything. How would you describe the current dating market right now? Joel, I think, let me look back, actually. No, I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream when I gave the whole spiel about the YouTube algorithm. But basically, I don't want you to think about the dating market. I want you to think about yourself. So stop thinking in terms of, oh, what's the dating market looking like? Because that is what determines my chances of finding love. The dating market is what it is. You can't change the dating market. Focus on, basically, you're asking the wrong question. And that's a bit contradictory because I'm definitely a big believer that there are no such thing as bad questions. You didn't ask a bad question, but you asked the wrong question. The right question would be, how can I become somebody who people want to date? How can I become attractive to people who I would actually want to spend my time with? And the answer is be yourself. Because if you're being yourself, when you're being honest about who you are with all of your flaws, all of your deficiencies, so on and so forth, when you're doing that, you have basically complete freedom. You have complete freedom to enjoy the other person's presence because you're not trying to uphold a facade. So, and the cool thing about that is that when you're being yourself, you're naturally going to repel the people who you wouldn't actually want to spend time with. And when you repel those people, you're left only with the people that you would like to spend time with. It's literally just a natural mechanism of life and of love. Positives about the Netherlands, I think I've gone pretty in depth about that in a lot of my videos, but I would say above all else is the infrastructure. The infrastructure is just on a completely different level here with the public transit, with the bike lanes, with the walkability, with the general cohesiveness of everything from the traffic lights to the way the roads are structured. The infrastructure is just so much better here. That guy in WWE that smashes a guitar in people's faces, that one I don't remember. Maybe that's a little bit after my time or maybe even a bit before my time, but I don't remember him. Hey Jordan, need advice on how to get over extreme heartbreak after seeing my ex moved on. Oh my god. After seeing my ex moved on really quick. Okay, so here's the thing. It's really the end part of your question that tells me everything I need to know here. If you saw that your ex moved on really quick, that means you're still keeping tabs on her. You're probably checking up on her social media. And listen, this is natural, but it doesn't serve you. It's natural to want to know what she has going on in her life, but bro, it's not doing you any good. What did you think was the best possible scenario from checking up on her? Maybe you thought that she'd miss you. Maybe you thought that she would want you back, that she'd be miserable without you. But now you got your answer. And so now you know not to go and check up on her social media, or not to basically keep tabs on what she's doing in her life, because it's not going to serve you. What you need to do instead, Emmanuel, is you need to take the time to focus on yourself, focus on where you are in your life, focus on where you want to go in your life, and trust that along the way, you are going to meet the people who should be in your life. Some of them will be friends, and maybe one of them will be a lover. But just understand that your ex, you got to charge that to the game. That's not to say that you can't feel some type of way about it. Again, that's natural, but don't allow that to make you feel compelled to continue checking up on her. So right there, that's the first thing you need to do. And I wish there was another way that I could tell you this, but you just kind of have to give it time. It doesn't really... Here's the thing, bro. It's not even that you get past the feelings that you have for her. I'm a big believer that when you have feelings for someone, truly have feelings for them, you'll always have feelings. But the thing is, it's only that part of you that has feelings for her. It's only going to be that part of you that has feelings for her. So, Emmanuel, let's say, for example, you're 19 years old and you were with this girl from ages 17 to 18. Those layers of yourself, because you might be 19, but the 17 and 18-year-old Emmanuel are still within you. Those parts of you will always be in love with her. They'll always have feelings for her. But as you stack on the layers, 19, 20, 21, 22, those layers who have feelings for her become less and less significant relative to all of who you are. That's why they say time heals all wounds. So in that interim period, while you're, I don't want to say waiting to heal, but while you are healing, focus on yourself. That's really all you can do. Just focus on yourself and use it as fuel to pursue your purpose. Bring back the let's talk about women stream. Shit changed my life, no lie. What do you mean? The only streams that I've gotten rid of, if I recall correctly, are... I've gotten rid of a few collab streams because the people requested that I get rid of them. But other than that, I don't believe that I've gotten rid of any other streams. I'm not the biggest fan of roller coasters, but a few years ago, me and the fam went to Orlando on vacation. My older brother basically forced me onto them. I wasn't scared, but I didn't enjoy it, not gonna lie. Bro, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand the point of roller coasters. I don't see the upside. I guess adrenaline or whatever, but I mean, I don't know, bro. It's not for me. But to each their own. I legit started my era of getting on the dating apps, doing it to learn lessons and see what that environment is like because I've never done it. Haven't been bad so far, but it's early days. Hasn't been bad so far, but it's early days. Well, here's the thing. You can find love on dating apps. I mean, my sister met her fiance on Bumble, if I recall correctly. I think it was Bumble. So it's possible. It's just, you need to understand that with dating apps, it's more the environment itself. So it's kind of like if, let's say, for example, I wanted to find, because you can find girls on there, but it depends on what your type of girl is. So for the kinds of women that I like, what I had to realize was they're not really going to be on dating apps like that. They're not going to be on dating apps. It's counterintuitive still to this day because I would have thought that dating apps would have attracted more introverted types of women, but that's just not the case. That wasn't the case. In my experience, it actually attracted the party girls who just wanted attention and validation. In my experience, once again. So you could find that diamond in the rough, but if you have similar taste in women as me, from a personality standpoint, it's probably just not the best place to be. And if you're in a situation like I was in when I lived in 37.6, I would say maybe consider social media for that purpose. But even then, yeah, social media is probably better than dating apps, depending on what kinds of women you're into. Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I look at it, let me go ahead and make you a mod, Brad, because you've been around for a minute, bro. Let me go ahead and make you a mod, just to show my appreciation. Where was I? Jordan, what's your personality type? I'm INTJ-A. I'm INFJ. It was A and what else? Assertive and... I forgot the other one. I wasn't the A, though. I know I was the other one. But it was very, very close. I was maybe 60% of the not A. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, INFJ. How do you get all your protein in as a vegan? By tracking what I eat. That's basically what it comes down to. I track what I eat, and I get around 200 grams of protein a day. But I will say, though, to be fair, when people hear that I'm vegan, they probably assume that I'm just eating vegetables. But I really eat a lot of meat substitutes. So, in a sense, I'm not even really vegan. If you look at it like that, it's basically no different. Jordan, what's up, my G? What's good, Nightwing? What's good with you, bro? We got another OG in here. Have you heard the new Daniel Caesar X Rex Orange County? No, I haven't. Hold on real quick. You might have just put me onto something real quick. I didn't know there was some new Daniel Caesar out. I'm not in tune with the culture right now, bro. I'm just in my own lane, so I gotta tap in with that. I'm only halfway through these sandwiches, bro. I gotta tighten up. Bro, is there a way I can make the... I feel like he's focusing on the mic, but it doesn't seem like you mind very much, so... Bro, I might have to start skipping some of these questions because I'm really far behind in the chat. Imposter syndrome is heavy. I feel like when I really struggled with Nofap, it was down to emotional regulation. The reason as to why I do it to soothe and relieve the negative emotions. Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. At some level, it does always come back to escapism. I think that when I was making all of the Nofap videos through maybe summer last year, the mistake that I made was thinking that you were trying to escape from your situation, your external circumstances. What I've come to realize is that just as frequently, if not more frequently, you're actually trying to escape from your internal circumstances. So you're trying to escape from emotions. You're trying to escape from your state of being. So the same answer applies. You still have to focus on fixing the emotional state. Focus on fixing the environment that you're in and making a permanent escape from it, but also understanding that you're still going to have negative emotions even when your external environment changes. So you have to learn to cope with those emotions in a more healthy way, in a more productive way. So for me, for example, journaling, getting back into writing poetry, things of that nature have really helped. And then just being more open in my content. And I think that's a big part of the reason why I didn't struggle with Nofap when I was younger, is because I was always very open and honest in my content. I didn't really keep that much bottled up. And if I did, I would write about it. I feel like over the past year or so, I kind of got away from that. And that's something that now I'm actively starting to get back into. It's just being more open, being more vulnerable, and literally talking about how I feel in that moment instead of trying to cultivate an emotion to match the thing I want to create, if that makes sense. Do you think free will exists? Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some signs you should quit your job? I've been hard debating with myself to leave or not. So for me, here's the thing, bro. Everyone's situation is different. So I can give you the signs that I saw, but it might not be the same for you. But I would say for me, first it started off with the angel numbers. So the 111, 1111. However esoteric or woo-woo that might sound to you, I knew deep down that that shit meant something. So I was like, bro, nothing like this has ever happened in my life before. So it was a combination of that and just things happening that even if I didn't quit my job when I did, I think a week later or so, the quarantine hit. So I still wouldn't have been working either way. So it was going to happen. But it was mostly just a gut feeling. I mean, I didn't even have any logical explanation for it at that time. It was just a gut feeling. I just felt like it was time. But if you don't have definitive signs or if you're not in tune with your intuition like that, then I would say literally set a money goal. So set an amount of money that you would need to feel somewhat comfortable while still maintaining a sense of urgency in order to quit your job. And as soon as you get that amount of money, you put in your 2 weeks immediately. Bro, Jordan gives the best advice. Bro, I'm just literally, listen, bro, I am not a guru. I don't even know that I consider myself a leader. I consider myself a teacher. So all I'm doing when I give advice is I'm synthesizing information that I've consumed and I've applied in my life or that I've seen other people apply. So that's why the advice that I give tends to work. It tends to work is because I'm not the originator of the advice that I give. It's just that the way that you watch my content, I watch other people or I read other people's content or I just generally study other people obsessively. And because of that, I'm able to notice common denominators. And I use those common denominators to establish my foundation of what I believe the truth is. And that also leads me into this next question. Why does the self-improvement and spiritual community believe in a lot of pseudoscience without sufficient proof? So that's my thing. I can't speak on the rest of the community, but I just know that I tend to reverse engineer people's lifestyles and I figure out what they all have in common. And I apply those things in my life and they work. It's like, oh shit, if you do this and this, just like these people all did, who all have the result that you want, it works. It actually gets you to where you want to go. So again, I can't speak for other people, but for me, that is why I basically, I don't even know if I'd call it pseudoscience. A lot of it's just common sense. A lot of it's common sense. It's not even about research and sufficient proof or whatever. It's literally just, okay, if all of these people did this and it worked, that's all I need. That's all I need to go on. So that's just me though. Pretty sure YBC Too Cold is a self-improvement YouTuber who would stream with Jacob Tiller. He went from 1,000 subs and popped off over a few months, making tier list videos about women. That sounds very creative for sure. So just based on the idea that he's doing, the tier list about women, he sounds like a very creative young man. Assuming that he's young, I don't know. But yeah, I might check him out after the stream. Because I'm really out of tune with the self-improvement space in general, bro. What would you say has been your difference for dating and the women between the Netherlands and the US? So my sample size is extremely small for the Netherlands. It's literally just my girlfriend. And in the US, my sample size was still pretty small. So it's hard to say. I would say that Dutch people in general tend to value materialism a lot less than Americans do. It's a big blanket generalization, but that's just an observation that I've made. It almost seems like when you have the material items in the US, you're socially rewarded for it. Here, you're socially punished for it. you become an outcast for standing out from the crowd, and that can be a very, very negative thing as well. But it can be a positive from a dating perspective because women aren't necessarily looking out for that in the same way. So, but that's just theoretical though. That's completely theoretical because, again, my sample size is extremely small. The guitar guy is probably either Jeff Jarrett or Elias. I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know who either one of them are. So that's either before or after my time, for sure. Yo, bro, there's one girl I low-key like, and we have a good connection between each other. She started talking about sex and giving me signs about it, but I want to wait until marriage. What should I do? You should tell her. Tell her that you want to wait until marriage as soon as you can, or just find a way to bring it up in conversation and let her make an informed decision based on that. Because if she's not willing to wait, then she's just not the one. Plain and simple. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know. Wait. I think I missed a lot of comments, bro. Oh my god. I'm so far behind. Here, right? Yeah, this is where I was. Bro, I feel like Jordan is basically a psychologist because bro be speaking facts. I mean, I appreciate it, but again, it's not even, I don't know. It's just, I guess to me, a lot of what I say, I consider common sense just because of how much I've studied people and how, I don't know. I think I also, maybe what helps is that I have a natural propensity for pattern recognition, which has served me very well in life in general. So maybe that's why I'm able to identify those patterns faster than most. But I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm more obsessive about it than most people are. And it's also just, I tend to obsess over, if I'm struggling with something, I don't just allow it to fester. I try to figure out how I can fix it. Do you guys think the spiritual community is just a bunch of pseudoscience with gurus who sell useless courses and healing stones for money? So I have a pretty unique perspective on this, Cyber Potato. You use the word useless there, but I don't think that that's actually a thing. And here's why, okay? Let's say, for example, if someone's selling healing stones, okay? On the surface, it might seem like a scam. It might be like, bro, that's some bullshit. Nobody's going to actually benefit from that. But here's the thing. Placebo and the power of belief are very real. That's not pseudoscience. Placebo is something that has been tested and proven in real, official, scientific capacity. Okay, that's inarguable. So if somebody believes, if the person who is selling these stones can transpose or can transfer their belief into the belief of the person buying their stones, that these stones actually work, and then the stones really work, even though they're just stones, that's not useless. It works. So that's my big thing, bro, is as long as people are actually benefiting from it, even if it's just placebo, they're not useless. What high income skills would you recommend a 20-year-old to learn in order to grow their careers? So that's a pretty broad question because I don't know what your career is. Furthermore, I don't know what you are naturally equipped for. But what I'll say is this. This is a purpose framework that I like to pass forth to a lot of my clients. But basically, you figure out what you are naturally gifted at. If you don't know what you're naturally gifted at, another way of viewing this is think about something that is obvious to you, but not to other people. So think about something, let's say, for example, if you can paint really well. Painting is obvious to you. It's obvious that this stroke should go here on the canvas with this color. That shit is not obvious to me at all. I've taken art classes in school. It did not help me one bit. Still completely obscure to me. But to you, it might be obvious. Or I think I saw this in, because this is where I got that concept from. I saw this in an Elon Musk documentary on Netflix. But basically, they were saying that by the time he was 14, it had become obvious to him why certain things work the way that they did. Why, when you flip a light switch, the light comes on. I'm 24 and that shit still doesn't really make full sense to me. So, figure out things that are obvious to you, but not to the people around you. That's how you figure out what you're gifted at. And then you figure out what you love to do. That's self-explanatory. What would you do for free? What do you love to do in your free time? What could you not go the rest of your life without doing in some capacity? You write all of those things down. And then you find the common denominators between your gifts and your passions. Your purpose is somewhere in the middle. I've always been one to go all in and get emotionally attached when talking to a girl without even knowing if they reciprocated feelings or not. My younger self struggled heavily with that. Shit, bro, you're preaching to the choir with that one. You know my story. But it's interesting because what I've realized, you don't want to get emotionally attached, but I don't think that going all in is a bad thing. I think going all in on the wrong woman is a bad thing. It's just like with investments, for example. I'm not an investor, but I mean, going all in on the right investment is a good thing. Going all in on the wrong investment is a horrible thing. Okay. Hold on. I'm so far behind. I'm going to skip down to the bottom. And if I skipped over your question, then just ask it again. Because I saw a lot of very, very, what's the word? Intriguing comments. Especially from you, Cyber Potato. So, yeah. How can free will exist if we are just a bunch of particles? Particles cannot move out of their own. A particle will always move a certain direction if hit by another particle. Inherent randomness only exists in the quantum level. Well, if I recall correctly, and listen, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there have been studies where they have shot particles through, was it a hole in the wall? Or they shot particles at a wall. So they had a flat wall. They shot particles at it, and the particles hit the wall differently based on if the observers were actually paying attention to the particles or not. Hold on, speaking of particles, let me change this battery. I need to get a charger, bro. This is ridiculous. Did I put the, no, I didn't. So I think you can still hear me though. So that just goes to show you that observation does change the way that particles move, which, hold on, let me get this camera up. All right, we're good. Yeah, so particles, the way that particles move is not completely defined, but it is influenced by observation. which is mostly about the position of electrons, which is actually a wave of probability, but even so, randomness isn't in your control. Randomness is not in your control, but how you navigate through randomness is in your control. We are merely determined by situation. If we have two identical scenarios with every particle in the exact same position in space, and if inherent randomness isn't true, there must be two identical reactions of the humans in that scenario. And even if there is inherent randomness that changes the reaction, it isn't in your control. No, Jordan, you're misinterpreting it. The state of the particle becomes known if there is an observer. The state of the particle becomes known if there's an observer. What? I need you to elaborate on that for me. But, okay, so anyways, I'm not saying that randomness isn't real, because it most certainly is. Chaos is real. Entropy is real. All of these things are real. But how you decide to navigate through all of it is real as well. Okay, so I think also I saw you mention somewhere in there confirmation bias. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because confirmation bias is actually what allows you to navigate through chaos. And I know I'm skipping over a lot of people's questions. I'm going to get to you in a second, but this Cyber Potato is bringing up some very, very, very intriguing dialogue here. Okay, so think about it like this. Imagine that you are in the ocean. Not in the ocean, on the ocean. Okay, you can't control where the waves go. The waves are the waves. The tides are the tides. You can't control that. You might be able to observe patterns within it based on, let's say, for example, the positioning of the moon or things like that, but you can't control them. What you can do is you can control how you navigate on those waves if you have a boat. So when you have a boat, which is your belief systems are the boat, you can choose to consciously change your belief systems by finding evidence, which again is literally what I've dedicated my whole entire career to, finding evidence of people who have gotten to where you want to go. So this would be the map. So now you have a map that shows you, hey, you can navigate from here to here with your boat on the water, this chaotic, treacherous, random water. You can get from here to here, point A to point B, if you navigate this way using the map. And I just realized I completely just disregarded confirmation bias. But basically, with confirmation bias allows you to put your progress on autopilot. That's basically what I'm getting at, is that when you have a map, or better yet, not even a map, a GPS. When you have a GPS and you set a destination, you are focusing on that destination. You're focusing on the destination, and even if you go a different route, you still get rerouted along the way. You still get rerouted back to your original destination. And with confirmation bias, you can program your own mind to focus on that destination. Hold on. Cyber Potato, I'm gonna get to what you're saying about Schrodinger's cat here in a second, because this is, like, you're putting me on game as well. I like learning about stuff like this, but I don't want to neglect everyone else. So I'm gonna get to that in a second, but. Question I like from Kale the Messenger. Who are the people you watch and try to reverse engineer their lives to get to where you are today? So a lot of people. More recently, it's been a lot of autobiographies of random, I won't say random people because they're people that you'll know, but they're people that I didn't necessarily look to for inspiration earlier on in my journey. But I'm going to just run through a list of the autobiographies that I've read in the past 6 or 7 months. So you go to reading list. Okay. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent. Black Privilege by Charlemagne the God. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. The Marathon Don't Stop by Rob Kenner, but it's about Nipsey Hussle. Will by Will Smith. A Life in Parts by Bryan Cranston. More Myself by Alicia Keys. I'm listening to that right now, the audiobook. Trejo by Danny Trejo. Armed with Good Intentions, Wallow 267. Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Tough by Terry Crews. Next, I'm going to read A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I also read, I forgot the fucking name of it, but Malcolm X's autobiography, amongst others. So those are the more recent examples. But earlier on, I would say I studied DDG a lot. And Brad, I also studied Elena Castillo, which you know about her. I studied her come up just because she was the first person who I really saw come up on YouTube like that in real time. So I was like, oh shit, this is really possible. It's crazy. But those two, Jeff Logan is another one. Let me actually look at this self-architect worksheet. It's just a little worksheet that I created for my coaching clients, but this little section right here. Jay Rich, Jerron Richards, he's a dropshipping YouTuber. Who else? Steve Harvey, he was a very big inspiration for me, especially early on. Garen Jones has become an inspiration recently. A bit of Eckhart Tolle, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, the author of The Power of Now. Rick Rubin has been a big creative inspiration for me. So literally, that's the thing, is I'm picking people from all different walks of life who have very little in common with each other, and I'm figuring out what they all have in common. I want to quit my job, but I don't want to be broke, and I leave for the military in 30 days. What should I do? Well, how are you going to have a job and be in the military simultaneously? I'm not really understanding that. I'm 21 and I have no experience with girls, never been on a date, don't talk to girls much, haven't really done anything with girls. I get praised for my looks, but I lack confidence and I'm shy. Any tips? So I was the same exact way. I am actually still very shy to this day. I don't really lack confidence like I used to, but I once did, despite being praised for my looks. Literally in videos, rate me 1 to 10 and all of that. Fun fact, I didn't know that women thought I was attractive until I started doing the public interviews. Literally up until then, I thought that they found me to be unattractive. So just fun fact. But anyways, I would say that in your scenario, it's more about putting yourself out there in a way that makes sense for you. So for me, it was through the internet. It was by creating content. Actually, I met my girlfriend before I created content. But what I did to meet her was I commented on other people's videos. And she found me from one of my comments on someone else's video. So I put myself out there in that capacity because that was the capacity that at that time I was comfortable putting myself out there with. But we didn't start dating until years after we met. With my first relationship, we met from TikTok. So I started making TikTok videos and she found me from my TikTok content. And honestly, at that time, a lot of girls were hitting me up in the DMs, bro. It was literally part of my daily routine to answer DMs from girls, bro. I know this sounds crazy, but that's just when you put yourself out there and you're being yourself. Listen, bro, I'm going to give you a formula right now, bro. Go on TikTok, say, I'm 21 years old and I've never been on a date. Here's why. And that shit might blow because that's literally how I blew my TikTok up, was by saying that I was 20 years old while still being a virgin. Got, I think, 3 million views, 3 million views on that video on TikTok. And needless to say, it wasn't very difficult for me to find women to talk to after that. And not only that, but there were women who knew that I lacked experience and didn't care. Describe yourself in one word. Me. There must be 2 identical reactions of the humans in that scenario. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna skip down to some of the stuff he was saying. said, damn, Jordan, those peanut butter sandwiches are infinite or what? Bro, listen. I need to finish these sandwiches because we're going to go run after this. And I do not want to run on a full stomach. I've been streaming for a while too, an hour and a half. This one's been flying by. What time is it? It's 8:30. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. Bro, hold on. Cyber Potato, before I answer any of your messages here, what I need you to do is I need you to start making videos. Like, people need to understand, if you're not already, I don't know if you're doing this already, but bro, start making videos and start saying these things out loud for other people to see. Because you're clearly a very insightful person. So I would highly advise you. And creating content might change your perspective on some of these things. But anyways, how do I bridge the gap from seeing people I personally knew to starting a conversation with them now that I'm not in high school anymore and it's been long since I've talked to these people in person? I'm not going to lie. I feel like after high school, friendships really take effort. You have to actually make the effort to uphold them or they'll literally just fall apart. I feel like with my friends, I'm still cool with my friends, but I haven't talked to a lot of them since I left Texas. So over a year ago. But I would say if they're really your friends, it shouldn't matter that you haven't spoken to them in a while. Because I know that I can land in Texas today. I can call one of my friends and be like, bro, let's link up at so-and-so park to go hoop. And if they're free, they're going to pull up. We don't even text. We don't text on a regular basis at all. I don't know what's going on in their lives, but I know that if I pull up on them, they're down to link up. So if you don't have that kind of relationship with them, they might not be your real friends, in which case you need to make new friends. But yeah, I would say in order to find out, just start hitting people up. Like, bro, you down to link up? It's been a while. How you been? Yada, yada, yada. I understand that can be awkward, especially after so long, but if they're really your friends, they should be happy to hear from you. Jordan, I understand your point. Intuitive thinking is way more efficient and beneficial. Perhaps it makes you a machine if you use it efficiently, but this inevitably makes you illogical and a slave. By slave, I mean one who mindlessly follows things, and rational thinking is very difficult, perhaps inefficient too, sadly. But the definition of rationality is basing your perception of truth based on reason, but you cannot have reason with intuition. It may feel true, but you are not aware of the reason. And intuition may have a lot of flaws and create fallacious. Bro's putting me onto some new words. I actually have to look that up. Fallacious. Fallacious, yeah. Based on a mistaken belief. Where was I? Wait. And intuition may have a lot of flaws and create fallacious reasoning. In my opinion, you need to know when to use rational thinking and intuitive thinking. You cannot mindlessly believe things, in my humble opinion. Intuitive thinking should be used for goals that you rationally made, but you must always be aware of cognitive biases and flaws in reasoning and not always rush through it with intuition. So I actually think it's the opposite. I think that the goals that you have should be intuitive and the means of achieving them should be rational. So that's a big mistake I made when I was younger. I didn't necessarily believe what you just said. I used to believe that it was more about just only following your intuition. So your goals are set by intuition and the methodology for achieving the goals are based on intuition, and logic has no place. But the thing with that is oftentimes that leads to you leaving things up to chance. And you don't want to leave life up to chance. You do not want to do that because that is how you get stuck. That is how you remain stagnant. And that's one thing, Cyber Potato, that I have learned from every single successful person that I have studied. Every one of them. None of them left life up to chance, ever. And they all vehemently oppose the idea that you should do that, which I don't think you're saying to do that. But anyways, the reason why I'm a big proponent of using intuition to set your goals is because, to your point, you have cognitive biases and flaws in reasoning. In other words, you have limiting beliefs. So your idea of what's logical and achievable is completely different than somebody else who was raised in an environment where they cultivated more empowering beliefs. So I use this example a lot, but if you grew up in Beverly Hills, your perception of what's realistic is completely different than if you grew up in Compton, right? So I remember, for example, when I was younger, there's this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he's somebody I've collabed with in the past. No, it's not Ice Cold JT, but somebody that I've collabed with in the past. He comes from money. Him and his brother come from some money. I don't know exactly how much, but I know that when I visited their house for the first time, I had never been in a house like that. I mean, they had the pool, they had the basketball court, all of that. Courtyard, they had the horseshoe driveway and a driveway that went through the back of the house, all of that. And I remember one time he told me, he was like, it's interesting that when we think about wealth, you tend to focus more on the spiritual aspect or more on the feeling aspect of wealth. And I tend to focus more on the practical side of wealth, on the investment side of wealth. And that one stuck with me for a while because I was like, damn, why is that? Because all of the people that I looked up to, all of the ones that I looked up to heavily emphasized the psychological and emotional or spiritual aspect of wealth. And it took me at least a year to realize that the reason why there was that discrepancy was because he had been raised to believe that wealth was not only achievable, but it was normal. And again, confirmation bias says that when you believe that, you're going to find more and more examples. You're going to compile more evidence in your subconscious mind that something is possible, not just in a vacuum, but possible for you. And you're going to naturally take the actions associated with that belief. Because we know, hold on, my nose is running. Because we know that 95% of our actions are essentially predetermined by our subconscious minds. For me, I didn't grow up thinking that wealth was normal and achievable. I don't come from poverty, but I definitely don't come from wealth, at least not to that same extent. So for me and for the people whose journeys I took inspiration from, a lot of the battle was just believing. And by the way, I'm not conventionally rich or anything. But even just to achieve what I've achieved, I had to overcome some very big limiting beliefs. I didn't have templates or I didn't have an environment to show that what I'm doing now was even possible. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why this goal or the life that I'm living now, where I'm able to have this discussion with you, Cyber Potato, is literally a product of intuition. Because how could I have set a goal to be a life coach or to make videos on YouTube about self-improvement when I literally didn't know that this was even a thing, right? So logic only works based on what you already know. Intuition works let me rephrase that. Logic works based on what you consciously know. Intuition works based on what you subconsciously know. And I'm sure you would agree that the subconscious mind is way more powerful and impactful than the conscious mind. You're right, because using logic to set goals, and by that I mean pure logic, it always ends in nihilism. Exactly, just because, again, your sense of what's logical and achievable is directly determined by the conditioning you received, especially through your formative years. But really through your life as a whole, but especially your formative years. But also, Cyber Potato and anybody watching this, I don't know if you've read 12 Rules for Life, I think it's called, by Jordan Peterson. I'm reading it right now. If you haven't, I would highly advise you to read that book. I'm from the Netherlands too. You're in the Netherlands or where? Yes, I am in the Netherlands. Jordan's next video, puking in public in the Netherlands versus in the US. And it's just the reactions of people seeing him throw up those PB&J sandwiches. Bro, fun fact, actually. This is something that you as a viewer probably don't know about me. I haven't thrown up since I was 7 years old. I don't throw up. And I literally, as a kid, I developed a phobia for throwing up. I would have full-on anxiety, panic attacks whenever I would have stomach aches. It was really bad. But yeah, bro, I literally willed that out of my experience. But where was I? 2019, Jordan Green was swapping Snapchats in the comment section of YouTube videos. Shows anything is possible for finding a girl. Listen, bro, this is the craziest thing. People say that you can't expect a girl to come knocking at your door, but I've found the opposite to be true. Because both times that I have been in a relationship, the girl came to me, and they both said the same exact thing. They said, I normally never reach out to people. I would never DM somebody, but something just told me to reach out to you. Something in me just told me to do it, and I did it. It's crazy. Rene Descartes, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I've heard the name before. French philosopher and mathematician, sat down one day and questioned all of his beliefs and realized that he couldn't be certain of anything. I believe we should all do this on a regular basis. I agree wholeheartedly. This is why, okay, listen. From a marketing standpoint, I have to at least sound like I have conviction in what I'm doing. But what I've come to realize is that ultimately, let's say, for example, my mission as a life coach is to transform people's lives. I can't guarantee anything. That's why I'm very wary about making guarantees in any of my marketing messages. It's because nothing in life is guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Now, there are some things that, let's say, for example, with fitness, I can give you certain information, and if you apply it, you are going to make substantial progress. You're going to make substantial progress, but then you might get hit by a car and all the progress is gone. So those are the random events that we can't account for. But basically, I'm saying this to say that you should always be very wary of somebody who seems to have 150% conviction in everything that they say, because that is literally how cults are formed. Don't let that double entendre go over your head. Is your mission to be a life coach? At this stage of my life, it is, yes. Going too deep on these philosophical questions will never get you any certain answers, only more questions. Life is simple. You want something, you go and get it. I agree and I disagree. I agree in the sense that life really is as simple as you make it out to be. But I also disagree that you shouldn't ask those questions. Because I said this in a video recently, and this is one of the coldest quotes I've ever come up with. I'm not going to lie. Just going to gas myself up a little bit here. But knowledge is the answers that you have. Wisdom is the questions that you ask. So by asking more questions, you will find more answers. And the ironic thing is that as you find more answers, you're going to realize how little you actually know relative to what there is to know. Because there's an infinite amount of knowledge out there. That's why, to Cyber Potato's point about the French philosopher Rene something, whatever his name was, Rene Descartes, whatever. Once you know enough to know that you can't know everything and that you're basically just stupid and always will be, that's literally as wise as you can get. Who was it? Was it Socrates or Plato? I'm not too big on philosophy, but basically it's literally one of the most famous philosophy quotes out there. But a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all. I might have butchered that quote, but you get the essence of it. Brad, I got one sandwich left, bro. One left. Or half a sandwich left. I got this. I doubt, therefore I think, therefore I am is his quote, meaning all he can be sure of is that he doubts, but he can be sure of that he exists because non-existence cannot exist, because if nothing exists, then it is something. Nothing doesn't exist. That's a really interesting one for me, because think about it like this, right? I always thought about, we're going a lot deeper than I thought we were going to go in the stream, bro, but what do blind people see? Really think about this. What do blind people see? Generally, we imagine that they see black. That's what they see. And I'm talking about somebody, let's assume they don't even have eyes. What do they see? We assume they see black, as if you closed your eyes. That's what they would see. But in reality, they don't see anything. So what is nothing? This fucked my head up when I first heard it, by the way. Okay. Golden Nagoma said black. Right? Maybe some people think they see white. But generally speaking, yep, see, Zodiac Jack beat me to it. It's like seeing out of your elbow. Or for me, it was, what do you see from the back of your head? You don't see anything. There's nothing. So there's no reference point to compare it to, because there's nothing. But nothing can't not exist. Or nothing can't exist, but nothingness cannot be described as it doesn't exist. Exactly. There is no means to have vision, therefore it doesn't exist, therefore it is nothing. Just like you said, nothing doesn't exist. I mean, we're also, I think, kind of getting into semantics here, but yeah. This is like one of those conversations that you have when you're on shrooms or something, except, I don't know about you, but I'm completely sober. But what's going on, Jordan? You remember me? Mr. 81, of course I remember you. You've been around for a while, bro. You know what? I realized I especially remember the people who are active in my streams more than anything. Blind people can see objects, but it only appears blurry to them. It depends on how blind they are. But we're assuming that they don't have eyes at all. So if they don't have eyes, they don't have the means for vision. But this is also a really good example of limiting beliefs, because if a blind person, like, how can you explain to a blind person that there actually is stuff here? Of course, they can pick it up with their other senses, but that the color red exists. It's literally beyond their depth of comprehension. They don't have the capacity to understand that. They don't have the reference point to understand what red is. You can say red is hot, red is this. Red. You can't fully describe it to people, to blind people, that is. In the same way, when you have limiting beliefs, you become blind to the opportunities that are in front of you. Metaphorically speaking, you become blind to all of the opportunities you have for advancing your life. Because life isn't just what is, it's what you focus on. Do you still talk with Kendrick, Awaken PSD at all, or not? Actually, you know what? I haven't spoken to him in a while. I tapped into one of his streams maybe a couple months ago. But no, man, we haven't talked in a while. But I know if I just saw him out in public, we'd still be cool and all that. So I hope he's doing well. Man, Kendrick is goated, bro. Kendrick was basically, whenever I first started YouTube, I want to say I had 100 subscribers at most. And Kendrick had done YouTube in the past, and he had 100, no, not 100. He had 1,000 subscribers on his channel. And he was telling me, he was like, bro, if you need any advice, then hit me up. I got you. So yeah, bro, Kendrick's a real one. that cult point you're making has been played out on YouTube, not mentioning names. Yeah, bro. The thing is, I will say, because he did that, but he was just more open about what was happening. But in reality, a lot of people use that as a marketing tactic, and I just consider it to be extremely amoral. I don't know. That's just, maybe that's a limiting belief on my behalf, but I just see that as not ethical to try to manipulate people. That's why my thing with my coaching program is, look, you don't have to buy it if you don't want it. You can still transform your life depending on what your goals are with my free content. It's just that with the coaching program, I can help you apply the information much, much quicker because you have access to me. So it's like my marketing strategy is not based on manipulation. I'm literally just telling you the truth about what I'm offering. And then I'm letting you make an informed decision based on that. I remember watching you do a never have I ever with Kendrick and some girl back in the day. Funny stuff. Yeah, man. Shout out to Chloe. We did do that video. That was, oh my God. Kendrick is a different breed, bro. That's all I got to say about that. It is weird for me that we only see photons, light reflecting on objects and that striking our eyes, which makes neurons fire and form an image in our mind, but it confuses me how neurons firing makes an image in our minds. Shit, I'm every bit as confused as you about that. But I'll say, look, I'm not the most adept at hard science in general, but the thing that interests me more is how what we see is influenced by what we believe and what we expect. This is why I can tell based on what you're saying that you're probably not a big believer in manifestation. This is why I am so adamant about manifestation working, is because the way that you see the world changes. Literally, the way you see the world, the way that your vision is activated. I need to find this part because what's his name? Jordan Peterson was talking about this in his book. And I wanted to talk about this in the coaching program, but I need to find the part in the book again. But basically, he uses a bunch of fancy scientific terms and just to say that your vision, your literally your vision, your peripheral vision, what you can perceive visually is heavily influenced by your thoughts, or I guess rather your beliefs. So everything is equally pointless until it's not. Once you begin to focus on things, those things have meaning in your life. So you create the meaning. That's my belief, at least. Eet smakelijk, dankjewel. What are you eating? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. This is my lunch. It is 8:54 and I'm eating lunch. Welcome to a day in my life. All right, I think I'm going to end the stream at 2 hours. So we got about 6 minutes and 6 seconds left. Are you an atheist? No, I'm spiritual. I know it sounds obscure, but basically, I'm not religious, but I believe that there is more to life than what we can just perceive with our senses. So what do you think can change what you see? That's the cool part. What changes what you see is you setting intentions in your subconscious mind. When you set an intention in your subconscious mind, it fires up your reticular activating system, which is basically the goal setting part of your brain. Think about it like your inner GPS. So let's say, for example, if I tell you to think of a blue Tesla. Okay, I just tell you to think of a blue Tesla. You planting that idea in your mind is going to fire up your reticular activating system. And by extension, basically your reticular activating system is the bridge between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So you're passing the idea from your conscious mind through your reticular activating system into your subconscious mind. And then from there, you will be much more likely to notice a blue Tesla when it's there. Even though it was always there to begin with, it was always going to be in that same parking lot or on that same road, you're much more likely to spot it simply because you've set the intention in your mind. So that's why intention setting, goal setting is very important. That's what manifestation is if you want to look at it just from a purely scientific or psychological perspective. If you want to remove the spiritual component, that's fine. It still works. You set a goal in your mind. It changes the way you perceive reality. And then it makes you much more likely, it at least makes you more aware of the opportunities in front of you. And from there, if you really want that thing, you can act on those opportunities. And they might not always be prosperous in terms of achieving your goal, but if they're not helpful in the facilitation of the goal itself, they will help you elevate as a person, which will then assist you in any other future endeavors. So as you pursue those other opportunities, you'll be more equipped to do so. I'm going to need you to start rubbing your hands at the start of every stream again and saying showtime like you did back in the day. I might have to bring that back, bro. I'm going to bring the guitar back. Whenever I go back to Texas, I'm going to start my streams with the guitar again. But yeah, you're bringing out real core memories, bro. I'm older than you and from Trinidad in the Caribbean. Thanks a lot for creating content that most people can apply and not just U.S. citizens. Hey, bro, I'm glad I've been able to help you out because that's what I make these videos for. How many coaching calls do you do in the community per week, and is there a schedule? Right now, I'm doing one coaching call per week, and we do them every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central European time. But the only reason why I'm doing one coaching call instead of multiple is because once I start doing one-on-one coaching, I want to have enough time to be able to do the one-on-one calls as well. But yeah, right now it's one call a week. And plus, I don't know, I feel like if I do more than one call per week, it's not really beneficial to the people who are in the calls, because then you can develop a reliance on me. And that's not what I want. Basically, my thing with the coaching is I don't want you to become reliant on me for answers. I want to cultivate within you the propensity for asking questions yourself and for then generating answers that are conducive to your success. So basically, I want to create leaders instead of having followers. Our senses are woefully unequipped to observe our reality. Exactly. And that's where intuition comes into play, because I see intuition almost like a sixth sense in a way, where intuition is from the subconscious mind. So it's literally your subconscious mind's way of conveying an observation to you that your conscious mind can't perceive, which is why it appears as a feeling, not an observation. So intuition is like the secret weapon. Okay, I'm about to end the stream. I'm going to answer one more question. One more question. Well, this is not a question, but I'm going to just answer it. Hey, Jordan, I'm working right now at the barbershop. Had to stop by to hear from you. What's good, Eric, bro? I appreciate you for tapping in. Literally about to end the stream, but I appreciate you for tapping in. Jordan, do you believe in God? Go and watch my video called My Thoughts on God. It's a spoken word video, but that should answer the question pretty extensively. And then I think I made another video called I finally found God or something like that. Watch those 2 videos and you'll get a good sense of my belief about that. Nothing happens just because. I agree with you, and here's why. This one I'm going to end the stream on, okay? I don't believe that life in and of itself is completely inherently random, because if you think about nature, everything in nature serves a purpose, and everything works as part of a system or cycle. So because of that, I'm also a big proponent that humans, as a part of nature, all inherently have purposes. So we all serve a purpose within the system of humanity, within the system of existence. And that, in my opinion, is where you find your life's meaning. It's through your purpose. And it might be arbitrary. It might be something that is obscure, and you might even see it as, oh, well, this is just a decision that I've made. But even then, even if you're the one who establishes what that meaning is, it's still meaning. So it still gives you a reference point from which to act in your life. But anyways, I'm not going to lie, my brain is fried. I still need to do this. I need to make this Instagram reel. I need to go to the gym and do cardio with my girl. So I appreciate you for tuning in. This has been an amazing stream, and I will be streaming again next week at the same time on the same day, per usual. So lock in on whatever it is that you're locking in on. And yeah, and my camera's about to die on top of that. So yeah, you know by this point that I'm not good at ending streams, so I'm just gonna go ahead and... Oh, yeah. Anyone interested in Jordan's coaching program, check the description of the stream. Brad, I appreciate you for reminding me, bro. I'm still trying to get used to doing the call to actions and all of that, but yes, bro. If that's something that you find interesting, that you believe you could benefit from, click the link in the description. If you don't feel like you could benefit from it, then don't click the link in the description. But if you want to be able to talk to me every single week, Thursdays at 7 o'clock Central European time, and have me give you direct advice, then click the link in the description. But I appreciate you for tuning in, and we don't do outros. I'm just going to end it.